Hey everybody, today I have 12 clones of discontinued fragrances. Now, a lot of these are just very close clones. Some of them are a bit of a twist, but each of these is a great, inexpensive alternative to a discontinued and therefore usually now much more expensive fragrance. As we get going here, remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet. Also consider giving a click to the like button and let me know down in the comments what would you add to this list of discontinued clones of discontinued fragrances. Okay, here we go. This first one, I have been hearing some murmuring, whispering about the original Valentino Wo being discontinued and even Valentino Wo Intense. Now, Valentino Wo Intense is one of my all-time favorite and all-time most complimented fragrances. I hope this is not true, but I feel like it probably is. Well, I have a clone right here that is really interesting because it's, to me, right in between the original Wo and Wo Intense. And this is Valencia Wo Intense. I just picked up the original Wo not too long ago. It is significantly more woody than Intense. It's not as sweet as Intense. And there's debate about whether or not it actually has an iris note. This one has the woodiness from the original Valentino Wo. It's not quite as sweet as the Intense. It does have the iris. It's really a great mesh of the two, and it's cheap, less than $30 on Amazon. I'll try to put links for those that I can. All right, this next one, this is a clone by Alexandria of just an absolutely legendary, epic fragrance, CH Men Privé. This is Alexandria's clone, A Private Man. Now, they don't pay me. I bought this fragrance. I'm not affiliated, etc., etc. I bought it. I love it. If you like CH Men, which is a gorgeous, leathery fragrance with a touch of sweetness and some spice, this is that with a sweet booziness added in. This one is basically a CH Men with what smells to me kind of like a Jack and Coke vibe added, like a little bit of a cola fizzy sweetness and a touch of booziness. A Private Man by Alexandria. This stuff is so good. Pretty good performance too. Okay, next, this one is not a clone, but I've been told, because I haven't tried the original, I've been told it's a really good alternative to Pure Zest by Mugler. So many of those Amen flankers have been discontinued. Pure Zest was a vanilla orange flanker of the Amen line. This is, of course, Paco Rabanne Ultra Red Man. This one also was apparently discontinued a few years ago. I saw a video about this a few years ago and I looked it up and it was $200, but somehow they've discovered a stash because now you can get this much less than that, around the $50 range. This one is basically vanilla, orange, and praline. Very discernible praline note, sort of a caramely, nutty kind of vibe with that orange and that vanilla. There's also some spice, some cinnamon, that kind of thing. It's a really great fragrance. It is sweet, sweet, sweet. I don't know how Pure Zest was, but the word on the street is this one's got some real similarities to that. It's a great pickup. Okay, next, Aqua Deo Profumo, as you probably know by now, has been discontinued. It has been replaced by, I think it's just Aqua Deo Parfum, but Profumo, I have a couple alternatives here. One of them, pretty well known by now, Latafa Sucrate, and it's a clone of Profumo. They did a pretty good job. It's maybe not quite as dark as Profumo and maybe just a touch more green, but Aqua Deo Profumo, as you know, it's sort of a woody, aquatic, fresh fragrance line, Aqua Deo, but the Profumo has got an incense note, an extra added darkness and heft, even a little more greenness, and this one does a great job of getting pretty close to Profumo. an even cheaper one that fragrance profile wise might be even closer to Profumo, although it's definitely a cheaper fragrance in general, is this one right here, Geo Black by Parfums Belkin. And this one, the performance isn't great. Some people get 8 hours out of it. I probably get more like 5 or 6, but it smells so good and quite close to Profumo, although there is a little bit of a synthetic vibe. But for $10, I think it's a great alternative to Aqua Deo Profumo. Okay, next. This is one that, again, it's debated whether it's discontinued. How do you ever know if a fragrance is discontinued unless it disappears? Because Dior isn't going to tell you. But a hard-to-get fragrance that pops up, actually more in the last 6 months than it has in the last few years, is, of course, Dior Homme Parfum. Gorgeous, thick, floral, wonderful iris fragrance with some sweetness and some oud and some rose. Well, this one right here has kind of caught the frag world by storm because it's inexpensive. I think it's about $32, and it's really, really good. A great clone of Dior Homme Parfum. This is Fomo's Gary's Den. And these are extrait de parfum, so they've got some weight, they've got some heft, and this one performs well. It's rich, but I will tell you, you know, if you don't like oud rose fragrances, stay away from this one. If you don't like floral fragrances, obviously stay away from this one, because something about that oud rose plus iris make it like a super iris fragrance. So again, right here, Gary's Den by Fomo, great alternative to Dior Homme Parfum. Okay, this next one, another clone of a Mugler Amen flanker. This one's a clone of Pure Malt. Of course, I'm talking about Fragrance World's Starman Nebula. And so this is basically a good bit of fruitiness. There is some bergamot and some orange in the opening. There's also a malt note, which you actually do pick up. It's almost sort of a, I don't even want to try to describe it because it'll sound weird what I was going to say, but it's a sweet aromatic fragrance with a good bit of spice at the forefront and a touch of booziness. I haven't tried the original Pure Malt, but I have heard that this is a really good alternative to Pure Malt. I love this stuff. A good bit of sweetness, a good bit of spice. Every time I pick it up after I go a couple months without wearing it, I think, man, I need to wear this more. Very good, sweet and spicy aromatic fragrance, Starman Nebula. Okay, next, this one is a clone of Armani Code Profumo, which is, of course, a discontinued flanker of the Code line. They've killed off all of the best flankers, in my opinion. But this one is going to get you that tonka bean goodness, of course, with a little bit of a leathery vibe, a little extra sweetness in this one. There's also sort of an effervescent kind of fruitiness in the opening. It's a great pickup. This one does have a bit of a cheap synthetic vibe for the first 10 or 15 minutes, but it's gotten a lot better the last 6 months or so since I've had it. This is Sapil Bound, a very inexpensive clone of Armani Code Profumo, and once it settles down about 15 minutes in, it is super close to Profumo, and again, for the price, this is an insane pickup. Okay, next. This one is, again, an alternative to a discontinued fragrance. It's an alternative to Invictus Aqua 2016. I almost got the year wrong on that one. Invictus Aqua 2016. It is not a one-for-one clone, but there is absolutely a lot of similarities to several of the Invictus fragrances. I'm talking about Risasi Hawass. And the reason that people consider this one to be closer to Aqua and Aqua 2016 in particular is because of that bubblegummy sweetness. There's a little bit of an ozonic vibe. You've got a lot of characteristics that match, I think, even the original Invictus. And even though it's not a direct clone of Aqua 2016, there are real similarities. This is a great performer. It's versatile, and it's just a great fragrance all around. Okay, next, this one is a clone of a probably discontinued flanker of Stronger With You. Stronger With You Leather. This is an inexpensive, I think, great fragrance by Ard Al Zayfaron. This is Majestic Gold. No, it's Oud 24 Hours Majestic Gold. And the reason it's somewhat debatable, I guess, about this fragrance, whether it's discontinued, is because some of the flankers, the kind of special edition flankers of Stronger With You, have been hard to find ever since they came out. And this is one that you just rarely ever see for sale. And when you do, it's quite expensive. But this one basically smells like Stronger With You with that sweet vanilla chestnut, sort of warm, somewhat spicy vibe, but it has a beautiful leather note, even slightly animalic leather note. To me, it smells fantastic. I have several fragrances with a similar leather note, like Philip Plein No Limits. I love that very kind of realistic leather vibe, as well as all of that goodness from Stronger With You. This one is a great pickup. Last time I checked, for around $25 on Amazon. All right, next. This one has been getting hype ever since it came out. It's been impossible to get since it came out, but the last few weeks it's been available again, readily available. This is a clone of La Nuit de l'Homme Bleu Electrique. I'm talking about Fragrance World's Jack of Clubs. This is basically that wonderful cardamom and ginger and lavender, aromatic lavender with sweet, spicy cardamom and ginger, just like La Nuit de l'Homme. But this one's got a little bit of a fresh vibe that the original La Nuit de l'Homme doesn't. From what I understand, the idea behind Bleu Electrique was to kind of smash a blue fragrance with La Nuit de l'Homme, and they really accomplished that here. This one's more versatile than the original, one you could just about wear all year round, and it smells fantastic. Okay, next, again, another clone of a Mugler Amen flanker. I don't know why they killed off that line. It was such a great line, but this one is an inexpensive alternative to the tobacco-based Amen fragrance. This is Insurrection 2 Wild, and it is a clone of Pure Havane. It's basically a strong pipe tobacco with a little bit of a cherry pipe tobacco vibe. You've got a good dose of cinnamon. You've got some chocolate. You've got some vanilla. You've got some smokiness. It's whether it's the way they're doing the tobacco or whether there's actually like an incense note or something in there, I don't know. But it's a strong, spicy, sweet tobacco fragrance, and it is an excellent pickup, usually for under $25. You can see I've worn quite a bit of it. I've got a lot of fragrances, so that's kind of unusual. All right, and number 12. This one is a clone of another one of those Armani Code flankers. This one's a clone of Code Absolu. I did a video a few weeks ago where I did a side-by-side with the original, and it is pretty good. There are some slight differences, but this is probably, I don't know, like a 90% similar clone. I'm talking about Harmony Code Absolute by Fragrance World. This stuff is strong. It's got good performance. It's, again, that wonderful tonka bean vanilla. There's a little bit of sort of that, I haven't smelled that in a few days. Right off the atomizer, that sort of bright, invigorating opening, but then you go right into that vanilla tonka bean leather goodness. This is a great pickup, and another one from Fragrance World that surprised me at how good it is for the price. So that's been 12 alternatives or clones of discontinued fragrances. I'd love it if you'd let me know down below in the comments what you would add to this list. And remember to sub to the channel if you haven't. I've got videos coming out every couple days, and I hope you'll join us. I'm Justin. This is See How Scents.